Before we begin, thank you very much to Mark C. for joining the Patreon campaign. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to continue doing this and to get away with being a goofball on the internet. I very much appreciate it. I'm thankful for everyone who allows it to continue. If you guys keep supporting, I will keep making the videos. I will make sure you have something to watch every single day. This has been a very scuffed week of videos, and it's continuing now, so don't mind me. I'm a little bit weird. Also, don't mind you can't see into the store because, yeah. So let's talk about what has ruined Transformers over the years. And specifically, we are going to a fun page that I like on TF Wiki that is literally titled Ruined Forever, because that is a common idiom among the fandom to basically describe our discomfort for anything that we think is just like ruining Transformers in general. And it's a fun list to go through because it's quite the time capsule of what the more toxic of the fandom was going through at the time. So let's go to like the earliest example, and we'll go through all of these, and we'll point out a few of my own later on. But the first one is obviously the death of Optimus Prime. You do have a little bit of a case here in that after season 3 and after the movie, the brand did noticeably start going on a decline. It wasn't like in terrible condition in year 4, but by year 5, you could really tell that like the interest wasn't there anymore. Part of that is obviously because the cartoon wasn't running anymore, but the death of Optimus Prime was kind of a huge thing that upset a lot of kids. And then when you do season 3, imagine being a kid in 1986 when you didn't go to the movies. Either you couldn't afford it, couldn't get your parents to take you, whatever. But you tune into a brand new episode of Transformers, and where's Optimus Prime? Where's Megatron? Where's Starscream? Where's everyone? All of my characters are gone. Oh. It's a super weird thing for a series to do. Like, it's a thing Power Rangers does in Japan and Super Sentai. That's not what Transformers should, would have been. That's not what most cartoons of the time were doing. So it was weird. Now, obviously, we're still here. We survived it. But this one definitely did do damage. Not gonna lie. Action Masters, or specifically Transformers that don't transform. I think this one gets a bad rap because it is the final line in G1. But let's be honest, by the time Action Masters were a thing, the brand was already sinking. Like, we were already in a downward spiral. I don't think there was any saving it at that point. With no, with the comic book going on for so long, no, like, jumping on point for kids, with no cartoon running except for like weird reruns hosted by Optimus Prime Power Master form and a random kid. So yeah, I mean, Action Masters was never going to save the brand. They were trying something completely different is what they were going for, which at that point, yeah, they needed to do something radically different. They just happened to pick the wrong thing was all. So this one gets a bad rap. I don't think this killed Transformers. I don't think this ruined Transformers forever. And the fact that we still have modern, non-transforming Transformers, I think is a sign that, yeah, there's absolutely a market for it. In fact, it's one of the highest end markets in Transformers. So, what else? Oh, right. Monkey. Everyone got... This was like the first time where you saw a generational gap in Transformer fans. You got the hardcore fans who insisted everything still needs to be vehicles, even though we've proven through G1 and G2 that failed twice. And they said, no. It has to be trucks. It has to be cars. It has to be jets. Like, this isn't Transformers. I'm sorry, it is. It was. It always is going to be. And it is a very well-remembered series in Transformers. This did not ruin Transformers forever. All it did was upset entitled G1ers, which is something I love seeing to happen. But what it did was completely rejuvenate a line that otherwise was considered, on the brink of death. It was a gamble, and such a gamble that Hasbro didn't even put their name on it. They let Kenner handle it. It saved the franchise. Obviously, calling it ruined forever. A little bit missing the mark. All right, what else? What else ruined us forever? All right. The listing says Hippies. This one again did do some damage to the brand. You're taking the most popular cartoon we had done for Transformers, and you went through and completely assassinated every character in the show. You produced a show where characters didn't have guns because they wanted heroes who didn't need guns. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. They're also literally trying to be, they're literally, there's a literal tree hugger in this show. Okay, all right, so maybe you got a point. Maybe the hippie thing's on point. I don't think this one ruined us forever, but man, it was a bad detour. It was let's call it a rough detour. Not just a cartoon, toy line too. So, okay, this one, maybe a little bit. To the point where we had to go to what was going to ruin us again, which is reboots and reimagined continuities. This one is, you're not... It amazes me. Let's try something completely different. Oh, no, we don't want that. Okay, fine, back. We'll do something different, but it will feel like the old stuff. No, we don't want that either. You just want the same continuity to continue forever. Yes. But we run out of stories to tell in that continuity. I don't care. Do it. Do more. Nothing but G1 Optimus all the time. I have no problem with this. In fact, I think this was a great primer. I think Transformer fans in general handle things like reboots and new continuities way better than a lot of other fandoms, because we're so used to it at this point. We just kind of accept. It doesn't replace the original characters and stories. It just tells new ones with similar characters. And that's a healthy way to examine it. It's a healthy way to, keep your fandom. So I don't, this was exaggeration. And obviously, RID did have a lot of fans, and seeing Autobots on the shelves again did bring people back in. And let's just face it, a lot of the toys looked a lot better than Beast Machines did, including the ones that were repaints from Beast Machines toys, now that I think of it. And to continue the streak of things that ruin things forever, it's a 3-year streak because, actually, let's hold over. I forgot this one snuck in the middle. So, this had to do with the official Transformers Collector Convention. So we had Botcon, and Botcon was an unofficial convention for a long time. It was made official, is license, Hasbro kind of gave them the license. But then the license was acquired by 3H, and then they separated from the Hartmans. The Hartmans were the ones who created Botcon and owned the trademark. So that separation upset a lot of people. And then we got into the official Transformers Collector Convention, rather, the OTFCC rather than BotCon. And that upset a lot of fans. Again, not a real big deal because, hey, it's just a convention. But, it's something in the list. I think this one is this one is a minor dispute at best. But yeah, let's get back to the point I was talking about before. It's a 3-year streak of the new series upsetting people. This one is titled Pokeformers. Because, gotta catch them all. In this case, Minicons. Everyone got a little bit, everyone. The old school fans, because the old school fans hated anything that wasn't just G1 again, decided that we were going to have another feud over the fact that we have a collectible set of Transformers, the Minicons, that were essentially, they were treated kind of like Pokemon in the show. They were just like the living MacGuffins. Every episode revolved around collecting more Minicons and who could get more Minicons than everybody else. It's, today it's like Pokemon cards at school lunch, it's that kind of mentality. Obviously another case of G1 fans can't handle anything new. Some. Let's get this right. Some. Like I said, entitlement amuses me. So, this did fine. And again, another series that old school fans reviled, but saved the franchise because it renewed interest once again. You might be right here. This one might be on point. I'm using the logo for Kiss Players because literally I don't think there's any imagery that is iconic of Kiss Players that I could show you without getting demonetized. So I'm just going to let the logo tell you the story here. This one actually is kind of ruining the franchise, if only because its existence continues to permeate everything. And there's always ways of comparing what's going on to Kiss Players, or like making that like the default of like the worst end of how Transformers have ever gotten to. Okay, fine. We can have that extreme. That's fair to have. It's frustrating because it always means that, like, looking from the outside, if someone from outside of Transformers looks in and sees Kiss Players, like, that's a lot of explaining I have to do. That's a lot of really uncomfortable explaining I have to do. Yeah, okay, fair. This one is damaging. This one is very damaging. Exclusives. Now, interestingly enough, this is a fight that was back when, you know, OTFCC was a thing, and FunPub took over, and the collector convention revolved around the big box sets. I don't really recall this one being a huge deal until 2007 and the Games of Deception set, where you got 3 of the 6 Seekers in Classics form that didn't come out at retail, and my God, did everyone throw a fit over that. You couldn't even get the core 3. You had a Starscream, you had a Skywarp, Thundercracker, you had to buy an expensive Botcon box to get. The price on this in the aftermarket, because everyone was after those Seekers, exploded. And everyone was upset. Everyone was upset that they would not complete the Seeker set. Now, eventually, of course, they did. Generations and Universe allowed them a time to actually incorporate some of those back into circulation. And all 6 Seekers eventually came out using that same mold. But back then, we thought it's a Botcon thing. Botcon has this thing where they like guarantee that the toys they produce are not going to be released at retail. And technically that was true. The toys that came out eventually had different decos. Thrust had completely different molding for the wings. They're still distinct. They're still distinct releases, but it's one of those times where like everyone got furious over it. Not ruined forever, but man, it created some hostility. It created a lot of hostility. You knew it was going to be on here. Now, obviously, this did not ruin Transformers in the slightest, because guess what? It does gangbusters as far as like numbers go. It does fantastic for the franchise. This brought us prominence we've never had before. This turned our quiet little toy line that just kind of chugs along and just keeps going, does well enough to justify making one more series, into something where we can't put enough product on the shelf. You know, like literally, when 2007 hit, we couldn't put enough product on the shelf to meet the demand. You know, they had to rerun all the original toys and paint some extra, do like a few extra paint apps on them just to fill the shelves and get the characters out again. It was an unprecedented time. But yes, it brought in a lot of casual fans who didn't know G1. They knew the Bay movies. Now, guess what? That's not wrong. That's fine. There is no issue with that whatsoever. So, guess what? I'm absolutely fine by this. I'm not personally a big fan of the movies, but I will admit what they've done. I will admit what we've gained from them. All right? So that's fair. That's fair. Going animated, or as the fandom like to call, like going Teen Titans, because yes, Derek J. Wyatt's art style permeated both series very, very well. We're just going to call this one stupid. We're just going to call this one stupid as not wanting to have a different art style going on in a Transformers show, even though we've already changed art styles many times over the years. I don't know. This one was fine. Again, did not do a bit of harm to the series. It's mostly just the old schoolers who got upset. Like, anytime I'm talking about this, it's like, it literally is like old man screams at clouds. It literally is just the people who have been in the fandom forever going, I don't like anything new. I was like that during Beast Wars, and then I gave it a shot in Transmetals, loved it, and haven't looked back. And I'm happy that I managed to make that. Leap. All right, Bumblebee. For a while, this was actually true because it made the brand look really, really bad when your lead character was so overstocked at literally every store that you really couldn't find anybody else. And the stores wouldn't order anybody else because we got all this product that isn't selling. It was really bad. It was really frustrating. And it, not only did it hurt Transformers as a brand financially, but also it hurt collectors. It oversaturated the market with something that there really wasn't that high of a demand for. Now, obviously, Bumblebee has high demand, but not in every wave has to have a Bumblebee demand. Way overboard. Way overboard. We got over this one. Even Hasbro admitted they went too far. Even Hasbro admitted they made a mistake on how many Bumblebees came out. All right, next up. This is the last one on the list. Yeah, and it's basically just female Transformers and like interjecting women into this franchise. Keep in mind, Transformers was very much a boys' club back in the day. It is like, even no matter what continuity you're looking at, there are very, very few female characters and even fewer female Transformers. They like to pretend that female Transformers was a new thing that they just interjected into the Transformer universe in just the last few years. No, in the cartoon, they've always been part of the continuity. You can spot them in the ancient Cybertronian past in Season 3's Five Faces of Darkness flashback. And then, yes, RC. This mostly comes from the comic book fans, the Marvel comic book fans, because literally RC was thrown in as a token inclusion, almost literally like that. And the way it was handled was, as Simon Furman does with female characters, very, very poorly handled. Yeah, so that's a thing too. Never let Simon Furman write female characters. That's just a rule of nature. So this is the end of their list. So, okay, what can we talk about? What actually does ruin the Transformers fandom in this humble content creator's opinion? For starters, gatekeeping. I am very strong. This is the hill I will die on. Gatekeeping has never helped any fandom whatsoever. There is not a single time where it is beneficial for someone to go, you're not allowed to be a fan because you're not this and that. And that could be anything from gender and identity to, well, you just haven't watched G1, so out you go. I hate this mentality. I don't care if you got in with the Bay movies. I don't care if you got in with Earthspark. I don't even care if you just buy the occasional Transformer. You're not really a fan of the shows, but you like the toys once in a while. You're a fan. You belong here. And anyone telling you otherwise is a moron. And they are not worth listening to. They're not worth giving any credit to. You belong here. If you like Transformers, no matter what form that takes, you belong here. You're a fan. Welcome. Enjoy your stay. And avoid these toxic people that say you don't belong, because you do. What else can we do? Oh, package swappers. Screw you. Screw you. You're making all of us look bad. All of us. It's not bad enough that we go onto the store shelves and we notice, oh, there's an old toy or like a die-cast car crammed into a Transformers package because you felt like saving $20. But also, you think about the other end of that? Because they put it out for sale again. Some kid grabs it because they like the look of it and find out it's a completely different toy. There's parts broken. It's not even a Transformer. It's a horrible thing to do. Like, you're not screwing over the store because the store will often put it back out. You're screwing over the kids who don't know any better. You're screwing over the parents who are trying to make their kid happy. And that just leads to just a lot of tears and a lot of really, a lot of bad situations with them. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and yeah, I think this is one where everyone agrees. Like, package swappers are freaking evil, and it makes us. You don't see this much with any other toy line. It's just Transformers, so this makes us look really scummy, and it's a bad look for us in general. And then, yeah, so there is. Here's the thing. There's always a toxic element to any fandom. I've been fighting it on Twitter for quite a while now. Because there are bad things that happen. There are bad people who are in this fandom because they like Transformers, but they don't like certain people. They don't like their pronouns. They don't like their skin color. They don't like their gender. And I am disgusted by it. I am absolutely disgusted by all of it. Number one, I don't understand living through hate. Number two, I don't understand why you would let what someone else does bother you so much. You're just doing that to yourself. It's none of your business. But really, like, when it comes down to it, like, what have you not taken away from Transformers if you're a fan? When you have, like, these, when you're supposed to be idolizing these Autobots who come to Earth and help and protect people who are nothing like them, but they will still save them, they're heroes. In any continuity, that's what it comes down to. Autobots try to save humans. And they're the good guys. And, they don't share anything except, like the fact they have 2 legs and a head, really. Sometimes not even that. It's just, yeah. Any fandom has this toxic element. When I say gatekeeping has never helped any fandom, this is not included. These are the kind of people that need to be out of any fandom. They are, the Discord they run through, whether that's a server or just their vitriol, that has no place in Transformers. That has no place in this fandom whatsoever. Whether it comes from a place of bigotry, sexism, any kind of phobia you could name, all of it needs to go. All of it. This fandom's for everybody. I don't care what you are. I don't care what you need. I don't care what your pronouns are. I don't care what your gender is. I do not care what your race is. I don't care about any of that. I care that you're a good person. And if you're actually telling someone you don't belong in this fandom, or you're not, you're a terrible person because you're this and that, because of who you are is wrong, that's a bad person. Boot 'em. We don't need you. So there we go. So a lot of this list, yeah, it definitely did some damage, but a lot of it is just overblown. It's mostly just, it basically just came down to, like, old school fans that just couldn't accept things that changed. They couldn't accept the new. But I like accepting new things. Keeps things interesting. And I like the fandom being inclusive. If you're a good person and you like Transformers, welcome. You belong here. If you're a bad person, yeah, we don't need you. So, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane of all the things that ever ruined Transformers forever, even though Transformers is still around today. And I'm sure we'll be adding to that list at some point down the road. But until then, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.